Good afternoon, friends. My name is Jonathan Moyer, and I am one of the Associate Directors of Music here at the Church of the Covenant, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you into this space for a wonderful concert this afternoon presented on the Newberry organ by Dr. Kirk Michael Rich. I want to also welcome those who can join us via our live stream. I know it's a cold day here in Cleveland, but it's always better live in person. So we welcome you to come here sometime as well. But nevertheless, we welcome you wherever you may be to join us for this special concert of music today. Dr. Rich brings us just a beautifully varied program that will be on the Newberry organ this afternoon. It does reside in the back of the sanctuary, and there are all of these wonderful chairs that are left over from a very festive service we had this morning. So at any point in the program, if you'd like to try out the acoustics up here and sit and face the other direction, feel free to do so. Those chairs are here for you. The program will proceed without intermission today, but if at any point you are in need of the facility, there is a restroom there in the narthex for your needs. There is also more restrooms down the hallway here to my left. Following the program today, please greet our artist in the narthex, and we can share a few moments with him and celebrate his accomplishments and his beautiful music today. I believe Dr. Rich will be bringing us some comments during the program, so we'll learn a little bit more about the selections that he has given us today. You can read all about his amazing career in your program. Of course, Dr. Rich is not a stranger to this area. He did his undergraduate studies at Oberlin Conservatory of Music. He appears with us regularly for the Oberlin Summer Organ Academy. So if you're ever around in the month of July and want to hear other great organ music, you can find lots of young organists traveling throughout Cleveland and down in Oberlin for a very special week of organ studies. If this is your first time here for a concert in person or joining us online, and you would like to learn more about events here at the Church of the Covenant, please contact us. You can email us at music@covenantweb.org. You can drop your name and email address in our offering plate in the narthex today, and we can add you to our weekly email newsletter. You could leave today with one of our fancy brochures that lists all kinds of events coming up. Every Tuesday between now and the beginning of June, we have regular concerts here for our Tuesday noon Organ Plus concert series. This week we will welcome the Shaker Heights Chamber Orchestra from the high school just up the road. 53-member ensemble that will be playing for us on Tuesday, and we're really looking forward to that. On Friday, there's an opera here in the evening presented by some students from CIM. At noontime on Friday, the Carillon plays every week for Carillon concerts. There's a lot of music that takes place here that we hope that you can come and enjoy. Our next large organ event will be in 1 month on March 22nd. You can come back for not just 1 hour of organ music, but 4 continuous hours of music by Johann Sebastian Bach. We will be having a Bach marathon in this sanctuary featuring not only the organs but also other instruments as well. And we will be celebrating the composer's 341st birthday. So I hope you'll join us. Maybe we'll even have birthday cake. Following the program, if you feel so moved, we are grateful for any support that you can give for these concerts and the program here at the Church of the Covenant. There are offering plates in the narthex. And we are grateful to all the supporters of the music here at the Church of the Covenant through our Friends of Music fundraising, also from very generous grants from the Cleveland Foundation that make these concerts possible. And they are so important in this day. So let us welcome today Dr. Michael Rich, Kirk Michael Rich.
learn how to play a new organ for me than to figure out a new microphone, so bear with me. Thank you all for coming out on a cold, wintry, mixed sort of day for an organ concert. I also would love to thank Jonathan Moyer for his invitation to play here on this absolutely stunning organ. I was locked in the church with her yesterday for about 8 hours, and the time just passed by, and I didn't know until my hands started to say, hey, it might be time for dinner. So just an amazing organ, and I've learned so much about this music just from playing it here on this instrument. There's so much to be learned from playing instruments like this. Also, thank you to the Church of the Covenant for their hospitality and for supporting this series, and to David Casimir for the maintenance of the organ and the tuning today. So we started with the music of Dietrich Buxtehude, sort of the towering figure of what we call the North German organ school, so much so that the famous story of J.S. Bach walking about 200 miles just to hear him play and to learn from him. And he stayed a lot longer than he told his employer he would be staying. But such was the wonderful music coming out of Lübeck, the great Marienkirche there. And so this Praeludium in D is just reflective of that stilus fantasticus, we call it, this fantastic style. Very improvisatory and free, dramatic, lots of contrasting sections. And we move next to the great Dutch master, Sweelinck, who was called the maker of organists. His influence was so widespread, so many wonderful students, and his compositional output was such an influence on others. He was the maker of organists. The first work is this Paduana or Pavana, Lachrymae. A pavan is like a Renaissance dance. It's a slower dance, very courtly, also sort of like a processional dance. And the Lachrymae was like a pop song in its day, and some of you will know the tune Flow My Tears. It was even recorded by Sting about a decade ago. So this is a set of variations on Flow My Tears, which is maybe a good piece for the first Sunday of Lent if you've given up carbs or something like that. So we'll start with that and then move to, this is a new piece for me. I couldn't resist I had to program this chromatic fantasy to take advantage of the wonderful tuning system of this organ that we call mean tone tuning. So what I mean by chromatic, those are the notes that don't belong. So if you think about the white keys on the piano, the black keys are the ones that do not belong. So Sweelinck is taking advantage of those sort of notes, and we'll tie that in a little later with a piece we're going to hear in the Purcell set. So I'll play the Sweelinck set straight through. Thank you so much. And now we move on to the English Baroque with a set of Henry Purcell, not known to many as writing a lot of organ music, and that's because he didn't, unfortunately. But you'll hear, especially from the last piece in the set, the Voluntary for double organ, it's a shame that he didn't write down more things like this, but I think it's nice to imagine Purcell improvising this way before the start of a service at Westminster Abbey, where he was the organist, but I think he probably made a lot more money writing music for the theater, hence his fame for that. So you'll hear three pieces, make sure I know which ones I'm playing. The G major Voluntary, the ground in C minor, might be a harpsichord piece, but I like to play it on the organ. And then we talked about the Voluntary at the end. I decided, I've never played this on the organ, but I think just because I was wanting to do a Purcell set, and my wife and I had YouTube playing the other night on the big screen, and the wonderful mezzo-soprano Joyce DiDonato popped up and was singing this very famous aria from Purcell's opera Dido and Aeneas, her lament at the end when Aeneas leaves her, and right before she commits suicide, she sings this wonderful piece, Dido's Lament. And I thought, I think I'm going to throw that into my set and just find a way to make this work on the organ. And I hope you'll agree that it works very well indeed. So the relation between the Sweelinck chromatic fantasy and the aria from Dido. Dido's aria is based on a ground, or you might say a ground bass or a chaconne, and it's just a repeating pattern in the bass line. And this one is also chromatic. It's chromatic with these descending steps, like this. And the whole piece is based on that, and a wonderful bit of text painting with the descending bass line as she's singing When I Am Laid in Earth. So please enjoy this next set of Purcell. something completely different. You don't often hear C.P.E. Bach's music on organ recitals. You don't really hear it on the radio much either. This was one of Bach's favorite sons, one of his most musical sons, and not remembered so much as being an organ composer because he's in that transitional period where he couldn't make a lot of money publishing organ music. And he's mainly remembered for a treatise on the Versuch, the essay on the true art of keyboard playing, really a monumental keyboard treatise from the 18th century. But he did write these 6 organ sonatas for a princess who didn't have much in the way of pedal technique, so they don't require any pedals. And they're really very charming and so different from, if you're expecting anything like his father's music, forget it. This is going to be much closer to Mozart or Haydn. This transitional period between, we say that the Baroque died with Bach, J.S. Bach in 1750. So C.P.E. is in between that and moving towards the classical style. So you'll sometimes hear this referred to as the galant style, or the empfindsamer Stil, which just means the sensitive style. So you're going to hear more sort of sudden contrasts and a more personal, emotional voice. So this is a wonderful example of this period, and I get a little break from my feet for a bit, and I'll speak a little more about Mendelssohn in a bit. So please now enjoy this C.P.E. Bach Sonata in F major. Thank you. And now we move to a little bit of Mendelssohn, a piece that's not played very frequently. I've played it for maybe 8 years or so, and I don't play it a lot, and I don't know why. It's so interesting. His sonatas are played quite a bit more. This is not really like anything I've found in the sonatas. It's a little bit more like one of the songs without words for piano. So you have the famous Passion Chorale, Herzlich, mich, verlangen. We usually sing O Sacred Head, Now Wounded, or O Sacred Head, Surrounded. And so we have a statement of the chorale, and then we have this beautiful lyrical song without words that he spins above the chorale tune in slow-moving notes in the pedal. And then after that, we'll have Bach's wonderful Prelude and Fugue in C major, nicknamed the 9/8 because the Prelude is in 9/8. And it's just one of the most satisfying fugues in all of Bach's repertoire for me. The pedal comes in very late, and with the fugue subject in very slow-moving notes. It's augmented from what you hear in the beginning, and the way Bach builds tension over the first couple of pages before the pedal comes in. It's just one of the great moments in all of the organ repertoire, and sounds so good here on this instrument, which I can't, unfortunately can't put in my RAV4 and take back to Louisville with me, but I've so enjoyed getting to know it, and I want to thank you all again for being here, and hope to greet some of you in the narthex after the program.